Hello, my dear friend. I want you to take a moment right now to breathe with me. Just breathe. Feel yourself settling into this space where you are safe, where you are loved, and where you are exactly where you need to be. I know you're here because something inside you is hurting. Maybe someone said something that cut deep into your heart. Maybe those words keep playing over and over in your mind like a broken record that you can't turn off. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of harsh words for days, weeks, or even years, and you're tired of feeling this way. I want you to know that what you're feeling is completely natural and human. When someone speaks to us with cruelty or dismisses our worth, it hurts. It's supposed to hurt because we are beings designed for love and connection. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It's actually a sign of your beautiful, open heart. But what I'm going to share with you today will change everything about how you experience these moments. You're going to learn that no one, absolutely no one, has the power to diminish your worth unless you give them that power. Right now, you might be thinking about a specific incident. Maybe it was a family member who criticized your choices, a friend who made a cutting remark, a coworker who dismissed your ideas, or even a stranger who was rude to you. The words might still be echoing in your mind, and you might be feeling that familiar ache in your chest or that heaviness in your stomach. You might be questioning yourself, wondering if what they said was true, if you really are the things they called you. Let me tell you something with complete certainty. Those feelings you're experiencing are not about the truth of who you are. They're about old wounds that have been touched, old beliefs about yourself that someone else's words have awakened. You see, when we truly love and accept ourselves, when we know our own worth at the deepest level, other people's opinions about us become like rain on the roof. We might notice them, but they don't penetrate into the warm, safe space inside. The pain you feel when someone insults you is actually your inner child crying out, the part of you that learned long ago to look outside yourself for validation and approval. This part of you is precious and needs your love, not your judgment. We all carry these tender places within us, places where we learned that love was conditional, where we absorbed the message that we needed to be different somehow to be worthy of care and respect. When someone's words hurt you deeply, it's often because they're touching on something you already believed about yourself on some level. If someone called you lazy and it rolled right off your back, it would be because you know with certainty that you're a hardworking person. But if those words sting and stick, it might be because there's a part of you that has been wondering if you're doing enough, if you're working hard enough, if you're worthy enough. This is why some insults hit us like arrows, while others bounce off like rubber balls. The ones that hurt are the ones that find a matching belief inside us, a place where we've been unkind to ourselves, where we've been our own worst critic. The beautiful news is that once you understand this, you have all the power you need to heal these tender places and become truly free from the pain of other people's words. Your heart knows that you deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. Your soul knows that you are precious and valuable exactly as you are. But sometimes our minds get confused by all the messages we received growing up, all the times we were told we weren't good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, or successful enough. These messages created little wounds in our hearts, and those wounds are what hurt when someone speaks to us unkindly now. The journey we're taking together today is about healing those wounds, about filling them with so much love and acceptance that there's no room left for anyone else's harsh words to find a home. You're going to learn to become your own best friend, your own most loving supporter, so that when someone tries to hurt you with their words, you'll have an army of self-love protecting you from the inside out. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you. When someone insults you or speaks to you with cruelty, they're actually telling you much more about themselves than they're telling you about you. This is one of the most freeing truths you can ever learn, and once you really understand it, you'll never look at insults the same way again. Think about the last time you witnessed someone being genuinely cruel with their words. If you really observed them, you probably noticed something in their eyes, something in their energy that spoke of their own pain. People who are truly happy, truly at peace with themselves, don't go around trying to hurt others with their words. They don't need to. They're too busy enjoying their lives, loving themselves and others, creating beauty in the world. When someone lashes out at you, when they use words like weapons, they're essentially handing you a snapshot of their inner world. They're showing you their pain, their insecurities, their unhealed wounds. A person who calls you ugly is struggling with their own feelings about beauty and worth. A person who calls you stupid is battling their own fears about intelligence and competence. A person who dismisses your dreams is afraid of their own unfulfilled aspirations. This doesn't mean we excuse cruel behavior or allow people to treat us badly. It simply means we understand that their behavior is about them, not about us. When you really grasp this concept, something magical happens. You start to feel compassion instead of hurt, understanding instead of anger. You begin to see that their words are actually a cry for help, a desperate attempt to feel better about themselves by making someone else feel worse. The universe has a beautiful way of showing us this truth. Watch how the people who are most critical of others are often the hardest on themselves. Listen to how those who judge most harshly are usually carrying the heaviest burdens of shame and self-doubt. Notice how the people who spread the most negativity are often drowning in their own unexpressed pain. This is what we call projection, when people take their own feelings, fears, and beliefs and project them onto others. It's like they're wearing colored glasses that make everything look the way they feel inside. If they feel ugly inside, they see ugliness in others. If they feel stupid inside, they point out stupidity in everyone around them. If they feel unsuccessful, they criticize other people's achievements. When you understand projection, you realize that insults are really just mirrors reflecting the speaker's inner world back to them. They're not accurate descriptions of you. They're revelations about the person speaking. This is why the same insult that devastates one person might not even register with another. It's not about the words themselves. It's about whether those words match something the receiver believes about themselves. The most beautiful part of understanding this truth is that it sets you free from taking responsibility for other people's emotional states. You don't have to fix their pain, carry their burdens, or prove them wrong. You can simply see their words for what they really are, their own inner dialogue being spoken out loud. You can feel compassion for their struggle while protecting your own energy and peace of mind. When someone criticizes you harshly, try this gentle shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Is what they said true about me?" ask, "What must they be feeling inside to need to speak this way?" Instead of defending yourself or trying to change their mind, you can simply think, "I see that you're in pain, and I'm sorry you're hurting, but your pain doesn't define my worth." This perspective transforms everything. Suddenly, you're not a victim of their words. You're a witness to their struggle. You're not being attacked. You're being shown someone's inner wounds. You're not being diminished. You're being given an opportunity to practice compassion while maintaining your own inner peace. But here's where the real work begins, my dear friend. While it's true that insults say more about the speaker than they do about you, there's another layer to explore: the relationship between what others say to you and what you say to yourself. This is where your true power lies, and this is where your healing begins. The most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself in your own mind. This inner dialogue runs constantly, like background music in your life, and it shapes how you feel about yourself and how you experience the world around you. When someone says something hurtful to you, their words only have power if they match up with something you're already saying to yourself. Let me paint you a picture of how this works. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every thought you think is like a seed you plant. The thoughts you think repeatedly become like well-watered plants that grow strong and tall. Now, if someone comes along and throws more seeds that match the plants you're already growing, those seeds will find fertile ground and sprout quickly. But if someone throws seeds that don't match anything in your garden, they'll just sit on the surface and eventually blow away. This is why the same insult affects different people so differently. If your inner garden is full of self-love, self-acceptance, and appreciation for your unique qualities, then someone's harsh words will find no fertile ground in your mind. They'll bounce off your consciousness like seeds thrown onto concrete. But if your inner garden is full of self-criticism, self-doubt, and harsh judgments about yourself, then someone else's cruel words will find perfect conditions to take root and grow. The voice in your head that criticizes you, that tells you you're not good enough, that points out all your flaws and mistakes, this voice learned to speak from somewhere. Usually, it learned from the voices of people who were important to you when you were young. Parents, teachers, siblings, friends, they all contributed to the formation of your inner dialogue. The way they spoke to you became the way you learned to speak to yourself. If you grew up hearing, "You're so clumsy," every time you dropped something, part of your inner voice learned to say that to you. If you heard, "You're not trying hard enough," when you struggled with something, that became part of your mental soundtrack. If you were told, "You're too sensitive," when you cried, your inner critic learned to judge your emotions as weaknesses. These internalized voices are often much crueler than the people who spoke them originally ever intended to be. Your inner critic takes those old messages and repeats them endlessly, adding its own harsh commentary and making them stronger over time. This is why an insult from a stranger can hurt so much, because it activates this whole chorus of inner voices that have been saying similar things to you for years. But here's the beautiful truth. Just as you learned this inner dialogue, you can unlearn it. Just as you absorbed these voices from outside, you can create new, loving voices from within. You have the power to become the kind, loving parent to yourself that you always deserved to have. You can learn to speak to yourself with the same gentleness and encouragement you would offer to a dear friend. The process begins with awareness. Start noticing the tone of your inner voice. How do you speak to yourself when you make a mistake? What do you tell yourself when you look in the mirror? How do you respond to yourself when you're struggling or feeling sad? Most people are shocked when they begin to really listen to their inner dialogue. They realize they've been carrying on a relationship with themselves that they would never tolerate from another person. Once you become aware of your inner voice, you can begin to change it. When you catch yourself being self-critical, you can pause and ask, "Would I speak to a good friend this way?" When you notice harsh judgment toward yourself, you can gently redirect your thoughts toward kindness and understanding. When you hear old, painful messages playing in your mind, you can consciously choose to replace them with new, loving truths about yourself. This work takes patience and practice. Your inner critic didn't develop overnight, and it won't disappear overnight either. But every time you choose a kinder thought about yourself, every time you speak to yourself with love instead of judgment, you're planting new seeds in the garden of your mind. Over time, these seeds will grow into strong, beautiful plants that crowd out the weeds of self-criticism and doubt. When your inner dialogue becomes genuinely loving and supportive, something miraculous happens. Other people's words lose their power to hurt you. You become like a person wearing a beautiful, invisible armor made of self-love. Insults simply bounce off because they can't find anything inside you that agrees with them. Your inner voice is too busy telling you how precious and worthy you are to pay attention to someone else's attempt to convince you otherwise. This brings us to something absolutely fundamental that I want you to understand deep in your bones. Your worth as a human being is not something you earn, achieve, or prove. It's not something that can be taken away by someone else's words or given back by their approval. Your worth is inherent, built into the very fabric of who you are, as natural and unchangeable as your need for air and water. I know this might be hard to believe, especially if you've spent years trying to prove your value through your accomplishments, your appearance, your relationships, or your ability to please others. So many of us learned early in life that love and acceptance were things we had to work for, things that depended on our behavior, our performance, our ability to meet other people's expectations. But that was never the truth about your worth. That was just the limited understanding of the people around you. Think about a newborn baby for a moment. What has that baby done to earn love? What accomplishments can they point to? What value have they created in the world? Yet when you look at a baby, you see pure worth, pure lovability, pure preciousness. You don't question whether they deserve care and tenderness. You know they do, simply because they exist. You don't wait for them to prove themselves worthy of love. You love them completely and unconditionally just because they are. That baby you're thinking of, that's who you still are at your core. That pure, precious, infinitely valuable being didn't disappear when you grew up. It didn't get damaged by the mistakes you made or the criticism you received. It didn't become less worthy when you failed at something or when someone rejected you. That essential, lovable you is still there, still perfect, still deserving of all the love and respect in the world. There's an important distinction I want to help you understand between self-esteem and self-worth, because many people confuse these two concepts, and this confusion can keep them trapped in cycles of seeking validation from others. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself based on your performance, your achievements, your ability to meet certain standards. It goes up when you succeed and down when you fail. It depends on external circumstances and other people's opinions. Self-esteem is fragile and changeable because it's based on things that are fragile and changeable. Self-worth, on the other hand, is the deep knowing that you are valuable simply because you exist. It doesn't fluctuate based on your performance or other people's opinions. It's not something you can lose because it's not something you earned in the first place. Self-worth is like the sun. It's always shining, even when clouds temporarily block your view of it. Your job is not to create your worth, but to remember it, to clear away the clouds of false beliefs that hide it from your awareness. When you build your life on self-worth instead of self-esteem, everything changes. You stop needing other people's approval to feel good about yourself. You stop taking their disapproval as evidence that you're flawed. You start making decisions based on what feels right and true for you, rather than what you think will make others happy. You begin to attract people who appreciate you for who you really are, rather than people who only like you when you're performing for them. Creating an unshakable sense of self begins with accepting this truth. You are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your past mistakes, and you are certainly not other people's opinions of you. You are the awareness that observes all of these things. You are the consciousness that can choose new thoughts, feel new emotions, learn from mistakes, and remain untouched by others' judgments. This true self, this essential you, is perfect and whole and worthy of love exactly as it is. Building this foundation requires daily practice, daily reminders, daily acts of self-love and self-acceptance. It means catching yourself when you start to base your worth on external things and gently bringing yourself back to the truth of your inherent value. It means treating yourself with the same kindness and respect you would offer to someone you love deeply. It means making choices that honor your authentic self rather than trying to be who you think others want you to be. When your foundation of self-worth is strong, insults become like raindrops hitting a well-built roof. They might make some noise, but they can't penetrate the solid structure of your self-love. You might notice them, you might even feel momentarily affected by them, but they can't shake the fundamental knowledge of your own worth. You become unshakable not because you're hard or closed off, but because you're rooted in truth about yourself. Now that we've established this foundation of inherent worth, let's talk about the daily practices that will strengthen and nurture your relationship with yourself. Self-love isn't just a nice concept, it's a practice, a way of living, a series of choices you make every day about how to treat yourself. These practices are like vitamins for your soul, daily nourishments that keep your sense of self-worth healthy and strong. One of the most powerful practices you can begin today is what I call mirror work. This might feel uncomfortable at first, and that's perfectly normal. Most of us have been trained to look in the mirror with critical eyes, to immediately zoom in on what we think needs to be fixed or changed. But the mirror can become one of your greatest teachers and allies in developing genuine self-love. Start simply. Look into your own eyes in the mirror and say hello as if you're greeting a dear friend. Notice what comes up for you. Do you feel shy, critical, uncomfortable? Just notice without judgment. Then try saying your name with love, the way someone who adores you would say it. Hello, your name. I'm so glad to see you. Notice how this feels different from your usual relationship with your reflection. As you become more comfortable with this practice, you can begin to offer yourself encouragement and appreciation. Look into your eyes and acknowledge something you're proud of yourself for. Maybe you were kind to someone today. Maybe you tried something new. Maybe you simply got through a difficult day. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a beloved child who had done something wonderful. I'm so proud of you for. You're so brave for. I love how you. The eyes are the windows to the soul, and when you look into your own eyes with love and acceptance, you're connecting with that essential, worthy part of yourself that no criticism can touch. You're building a relationship with yourself based on love rather than judgment. Over time, this practice will transform not only how you see yourself, but how you feel about yourself at the deepest level. Another powerful practice is learning to speak to yourself with loving kindness throughout the day. Most of us have a running commentary going on in our minds, and for many people, this commentary is harsh and critical. But you can learn to change this inner voice into one of support and encouragement. When you make a mistake, instead of saying, "I'm so stupid," you can learn to say, "I'm learning and growing." When you're struggling with something, instead of saying, "I can't do anything right," you can say, "This is challenging and I'm doing my best." Pay attention to your self-talk, especially during difficult moments. What do you tell yourself when you're afraid? How do you speak to yourself when you're sad or disappointed? What messages do you give yourself when you're facing a challenge? Begin to consciously choose words of encouragement and support. Treat yourself like you would treat a good friend who came to you for comfort and guidance. Creating rituals of self-care is another beautiful way to practice self-love. This doesn't mean you need to spend money on expensive treatments or take hours out of your day. Self-care can be as simple as making yourself a cup of tea and drinking it mindfully, taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply and appreciate your body, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for about yourself before bed. The key is intentionality. doing these things not because you have to, but because you deserve to be cared for, and you're the person best equipped to provide that care. When you make the choice to nurture yourself, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind that you are worthy of love and attention. You're proving to yourself through your actions that you matter, that your well-being is important, that you deserve to be treated with kindness. Physical touch can also be a powerful form of self-love. When you're feeling hurt or upset, try placing your hand on your heart and breathing deeply. Give yourself a gentle hug. Massage your hands or your shoulders with care and attention. Your body has been with you through everything, carrying you through all of life's experiences, and it deserves your appreciation and gentle care. These practices might feel awkward or even silly at first, especially if you're not used to treating yourself with such tenderness. That's completely normal. You're essentially learning a new language, the language of self-love. And like any new language, it takes practice to become fluent. Be patient with yourself as you learn. Be gentle with yourself as you grow. Every moment of kindness you offer yourself is a step toward the unshakable self-love that will protect you from anyone's attempts to hurt you with their words. This daily practice of self-love creates what I like to think of as an inner sanctuary, a place of peace and acceptance within yourself that no one else can disturb. When someone tries to insult you, you can retreat to this sanctuary and remember who you really are. You can hear their words without letting them take root in your heart, because your heart is already full of your own love and acceptance. As you continue this journey of self-discovery and healing, you'll likely become aware of old patterns of thinking and believing that have been quietly running your life from behind the scenes. These patterns, often formed in childhood, are like invisible programs that automatically respond to certain triggers with thoughts and feelings that don't serve you. The beautiful news is that once you become aware of these patterns, you have the power to change them. Many of the beliefs that make us vulnerable to other people's insults were formed when we were very young, when our minds were like sponges absorbing everything around us without the ability to question or filter what we were taking in. A child who was frequently criticized might have developed the belief, "I have to be perfect to be loved." A child who was ignored might have formed the belief, "I'm not important enough to matter." A child who was compared unfavorably to others might have created the belief, "I'm not good enough." These childhood beliefs become like background music in our adult lives. We don't always hear them consciously, but they influence how we interpret everything that happens to us. When someone criticizes us, these old beliefs get activated, and suddenly we're not responding as adults with wisdom and perspective. We're responding as wounded children who believed that criticism meant we were unlovable. The first step in transforming these patterns is to identify them. Start paying attention to your automatic thoughts when someone says something hurtful to you. What story do you immediately tell yourself about what their words mean? What conclusions do you jump to about yourself or your worth? These automatic responses will give you clues about the underlying beliefs that need your loving attention. Common limiting beliefs that make us vulnerable to insults include thoughts like, "If someone doesn't like me, there must be something wrong with me. I need everyone's approval to be okay. Other people's opinions are more important than my own. I have to prove my worth through my achievements." Or, "Love is conditional on my behavior." These beliefs feel true when we're not examining them, but when we bring them into the light of consciousness, we can see that they're just thoughts we learned, not facts about reality. Once you've identified a limiting belief, you can begin the gentle process of questioning it. Is this belief really true? Where did you learn it? How has believing this thought affected your life? What would be different if you didn't believe this anymore? What would be possible for you if you believed something different about yourself? Then you can begin to consciously choose new, more empowering beliefs to replace the old ones. Instead of, I need everyone's approval, you might choose, I approve of myself, and that's what matters most. Instead of other people's opinions define my worth, you might choose, my worth comes from within me and cannot be changed by external circumstances. Instead of, I have to be perfect to be loved, you might choose, I am lovable exactly as I am with all my human imperfections. This process of changing beliefs is like planting a new garden in your mind. At first, the new thoughts might feel foreign or untrue because you're not used to thinking them. The old thought patterns are like well-worn paths in your mind, easy to follow because you've traveled them so many times. The new thoughts are like creating new paths. It takes time and repetition to make them feel natural and automatic. Be patient with this process. Your mind has been running these old programs for years, maybe decades. It's going to take some time to install new programming. But every time you catch an old limiting thought and consciously choose a new empowering one, you're rewiring your brain. You're literally changing the neural pathways that determine how you think and feel about yourself. Some people find it helpful to write their new beliefs on cards and read them daily, or to say them as affirmations while looking in the mirror. Others prefer to simply catch themselves when old patterns arise and gently redirect their thoughts. Find the method that feels right for you, and remember that consistency is more important than perfection. Even if you only remember to choose a loving thought once a day instead of an old, critical one, you're making progress. As these new patterns become stronger and more automatic, you'll notice that insults and criticism start to affect you less and less. Not because you've become hard or unfeeling, but because you're no longer operating from those old wounds and beliefs that made you vulnerable. You're responding from a place of self-love and self-worth that cannot be shaken by someone else's opinion of you. Now let's talk about what to do in those real moments when someone is being hurtful with their words. All the self-love work in the world is wonderful, but you also need practical tools you can use immediately when you find yourself face to face with someone's criticism or cruelty. These tools will help you stay centered in your own worth while protecting your energy and peace of mind. The first and most powerful tool is your breath. When someone says something hurtful, your body's natural response might be to tighten up, to hold your breath, to contract with pain or fear. But your breath is your anchor to the present moment and to your own inner calm. The moment you notice someone's words affecting you, bring your attention to your breathing. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, imagining that you're breathing in peace and love. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension or negative energy you might have absorbed. This simple act of conscious breathing does several things at once. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which calms your fight or flight response. It brings you back to your center, reminding you that you are safe in this moment. It creates a pause between someone else's words and your response, giving you time to choose how you want to react rather than simply reacting automatically from old patterns of hurt or defensiveness. While you're breathing, you can also use what I call grounding techniques to keep yourself connected to your own truth. Feel your feet on the ground and remember that you are supported by the earth beneath you. Feel the strength in your own body and remember that you are more powerful than any words someone can speak. Silently remind yourself of a truth about who you are. I am loved. I am worthy. I am enough. Let this truth fill you up so completely that there's no room for someone else's negativity to take hold. Another powerful technique is to create what I think of as an energetic boundary around yourself. You can do this by imagining a beautiful protective light surrounding your entire body, maybe a warm golden light, or a soft pink light of love, or a strong white light of protection. See this light as completely impermeable to negative energy. Other people's words and emotions can hit this protective barrier, but they cannot penetrate it. They simply bounce off and return to the sender while you remain safe and peaceful inside your bubble of love. When someone is speaking to you harshly, you can also practice what I call compassionate detachment. This means recognizing that their words are coming from their own pain without taking responsibility for healing that pain or proving them wrong. You might silently say to yourself, "I see that you're hurting, and I send you love, but I will not absorb your pain as my own." This allows you to maintain your compassion without sacrificing your peace of mind. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to physically remove yourself from a situation where someone is being consistently cruel or disrespectful. You always have the right to say, "I don't feel comfortable with how you're speaking to me right now. I'm going to take some space." You don't have to justify this decision or convince the other person that they're being inappropriate. You simply remove yourself from harm's way with dignity and self-respect. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're being mean or unloving. It means you're honoring your own worth and teaching others how to treat you. When you consistently refuse to engage with disrespectful behavior, you're not only protecting yourself, you're also giving the other person an opportunity to examine their own behavior and potentially choose a kinder way of communicating. If you must continue interacting with someone who's being hurtful, you can use what I call the broken record technique. Choose a simple, calm response and repeat it as many times as necessary. "I hear that you're upset, but I won't be spoken to that way." Or, "I understand you have concerns, but let's discuss this respectfully." Don't get drawn into defending yourself or arguing about whether their words are justified. Simply maintain your boundary with consistency and calm. Remember that you don't owe anyone an explanation for refusing to accept disrespectful treatment. You don't have to convince them that you deserve kindness. You simply have to believe it yourself and act accordingly. Your behavior teaches people how to treat you far more effectively than any words you could speak. The work you do to love and accept yourself doesn't just affect your emotional and mental well-being. It has profound effects on your physical body as well. The connection between your thoughts, your emotions, and your physical health is so intimate and immediate that every moment of self-love is literally healing to your body, while every moment of self-criticism creates stress and tension that your body must carry. When you think loving thoughts about yourself, your body responds by releasing feel-good chemicals like endorphins and oxytocin. Your muscles relax, your breathing deepens, your heart rate becomes calm and steady, your immune system functions better, your digestion improves, and your body's natural healing processes work more efficiently. Self-love is literally medicine for your body. On the other hand, when you engage in harsh self-criticism or absorb other people's negative opinions about you, your body responds as if it's under attack. Stress hormones like cortisol flood your system, your muscles tense up, your breathing becomes shallow, and your body goes into survival mode. Chronic self-criticism can contribute to headaches, digestive problems, muscle tension, fatigue, and a weakened immune system. This is why learning to love yourself isn't just about feeling better emotionally. It's about creating optimal conditions for physical health and vitality. When you treat yourself with kindness and respect, you're literally giving your body the message that it's safe to relax, to heal, to thrive. You're creating an internal environment where wellness can flourish. One beautiful way to strengthen this mind-body connection is through body awareness practices. Throughout your day, check in with your body with the same loving attention you might give to a dear friend. How is your body feeling right now? What does it need? Is it asking for rest, movement, nourishment, or comfort? When you listen to your body with love and respond to its needs with care, you're strengthening the bond of trust and respect between your mind and body. Physical self-care becomes an expression of self-love when it's done with intention and appreciation. When you feed your body nutritious food, you can do it with gratitude for how hard your body works for you every day. When you move your body in ways that feel good, you can appreciate its strength and flexibility. When you give your body rest, you can honor its need for restoration and healing. Even simple practices like drinking enough water, getting fresh air, or taking a warm bath become acts of self-love when you do them with awareness and appreciation for your body. You're sending the message that you care about your physical well-being because you value yourself as a whole person, body, mind, and spirit. Touch is also a powerful way to heal the connection between your emotional and physical self. When you're feeling hurt by someone's words, try placing your hand on your heart and sending yourself love through your touch. Gently massage areas of tension in your body while mentally sending those areas appreciation and healing energy. Give yourself the kind of comforting touch you would offer to someone you love who was in pain. Your body holds emotional memories just as much as your mind does. Sometimes when someone says something hurtful, it activates not just mental patterns, but also physical memories of times when you felt small, afraid, or unwanted. By consciously sending love and acceptance to your body, you're helping to heal these old emotional wounds at the cellular level. As you become more attuned to your body's wisdom and more generous with physical self-care, you'll notice that you naturally become more resilient to stress and more quickly able to recover from emotional upsets. Your body becomes a source of strength and comfort rather than a source of criticism or worry. You develop what I like to call embodied self-love, a sense of being completely at home in your own skin, completely accepting of your physical self as part of your whole, beautiful, worthy being. The ultimate goal of all this inner work is not just to protect yourself from insults, but to live from such an authentic, self-loving place that you naturally attract respectful, loving relationships and experiences into your life. When you truly know your own worth, when you're living from your genuine self rather than trying to be who you think others want you to be, something magical happens. You start magnetizing people and situations that match your level of self-respect. Living authentically means honoring your true thoughts, feelings, values, and desires, instead of constantly adapting yourself to fit other people's expectations. It means making choices based on what feels right and true for you, even when those choices might disappoint or confuse others. It means expressing your genuine personality, pursuing your real interests, and sharing your unique gifts with the world. This doesn't mean being selfish or inconsiderate of others. It means being honest about who you are while still treating others with kindness and respect. It means setting boundaries that protect your energy and well-being while still being open to love and connection. It means standing in your own truth while allowing others the space to stand in theirs. When you live authentically, you stop attracting people who want to change you or who only appreciate you when you're being someone you're not. Instead, you start attracting people who love and appreciate your genuine self. These are the people who would never dream of insulting you or trying to tear you down because they see and value your true worth. The relationships you build from this authentic place are so much more satisfying and nourishing than relationships built on pretense or people-pleasing. When someone loves the real you, you can relax completely in their presence. You don't have to perform or prove yourself or worry about saying the wrong thing. You can simply be yourself and trust that you are loved and accepted. Living authentically also means pursuing work, hobbies, and life experiences that align with your true nature and values. When you're doing what you love, when you're expressing your natural talents and interests, you feel energized and alive in a way that makes other people's opinions seem much less important. You're too busy enjoying your life and sharing your gifts to spend much time worrying about criticism. This alignment between your inner truth and your outer life creates what I call an unshakable foundation. You know who you are, you like who you are, and you're living in a way that honors who you are. From this place of integrity and self-acceptance, other people's attempts to hurt you with words feel almost irrelevant. They're trying to tear down something that's built on such solid ground that their words can't even scratch the surface. The more authentic you become, the more you realize that everyone is on their own journey of growth and healing. You develop compassion for people who feel the need to hurt others with their words, because you understand that they're operating from their own pain and disconnection from their authentic selves. You can wish them well on their journey while maintaining healthy boundaries and refusing to absorb their negativity. Your authentic self is not just worthy of love and respect, it's absolutely necessary for the world. Your unique perspective, your special gifts, your particular way of seeing and being in the world, these things are not accidents. They're part of what you came here to share. When you hide your true self or try to be someone else to avoid criticism, you're depriving the world of something beautiful and irreplaceable. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to feel the truth of everything we've explored settling into your heart like seeds of transformation. You now have the understanding and tools you need to become truly free from the power of other people's words to hurt you. But understanding is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you take these ideas and begin to live them day by day, moment by moment. The journey to unshakable self-love is not about reaching some perfect destination where you never feel hurt or never doubt yourself. It's about developing such a strong, loving relationship with yourself that when those moments of pain or doubt arise, you know how to comfort yourself, how to return to your center, how to remember your truth. It's about becoming your own best friend, your own most loving supporter, your own safe harbor in any storm. This work takes patience and practice. There will be days when you forget everything you've learned and find yourself falling back into old patterns of self-criticism or taking other people's words too personally. That's not failure, that's being human. The goal is not perfection, but progress, not immunity from all pain, but resilience in the face of challenges. Every time you choose a loving thought about yourself over a critical one, you're changing your life. Every time you speak to yourself with kindness instead of harshness, you're healing old wounds. Every time you set a boundary with someone who's treating you disrespectfully, you're teaching the world how to love you better. Every moment of authentic self-expression is a victory for your true self. I want you to remember that you are not broken and don't need fixing. You are not flawed and don't need perfecting. You are not inadequate and don't need proving. You are already whole, already worthy, already enough, exactly as you are right now. The work we've done together today is not about creating your worth. It's about remembering it, uncovering it, letting it shine. The next time someone tries to hurt you with their words, I want you to remember this moment. Remember that their words are about them, not about you. Remember that your worth cannot be diminished by anyone's opinion. Remember that you have a choice in how you respond, and that choice is where your power lies. Take a deep breath, connect with your inner sanctuary of self-love, and respond from your truth rather than from old wounds. You are embarking on the most important relationship of your life, the relationship with yourself. Nurture it with the same care and attention you would give to any precious relationship. Speak to yourself with love. Treat yourself with respect. Honor your needs and feelings, and celebrate your unique gifts and qualities. The world needs what you have to offer. The world needs your authentic voice, your genuine heart, your special way of being. Don't let anyone's words convince you to hide your light or diminish your presence. You have every right to take up space, to be heard, to be respected, to be loved exactly as you are. Trust yourself, love yourself, be yourself. You are more powerful than you know, more lovable than you believe, and more worthy than you've ever been taught. No one can insult the truth of who you are because that truth is unshakable, unchangeable, and absolutely beautiful. You've got this, my dear friend, you truly do.